Welcome to Wrestler of the Week, Week 14. It pretty much works like this. If you are a professional wrestler and you made the most impact over the past 7 days, you will be named Wrestler of the Week. Every week, points will be tabulated, and at the end of the calendar year, whoever has the most points will be named the male and female Wrestler of the Year. If you want to see what I use as criteria for Wrestler of the Week, be sure to check out my Week 1 episode. This was a busy week. We had some title changes, title defenses, new number 1 contenders named, the start of the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournaments, and something that needs to be addressed. But let's just get right into it. First, the men and some honorable mentions. The feud between Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, and Bronson Reed continues to cook on Monday Night Raw as Zayn would interfere in a match between Reed and Gable, and now we have a triple threat for the Intercontinental title at King of the Ring. Natural Vibes would defeat Z-Brax for the Open the Triangle Gate title match at Dragon Gate Dead or Alive. Cal Hero would defeat Carson Drake for the OVW Media title at OVW Double Cross. Nick Wayne defeated Joey Janela 6-5 in a great 60-minute Iron Man match at Defy Here and Now. At the same event, Sanity would defeat Midnight Heat to retain their Progress tag titles. The following would advance in the King of the Ring tournament: Jey Uso, Ilya Dragunov, Gunther, Carmelo Hayes, Tama Tonga, and Randy Orton. And now the top 10 wrestlers of the week for the men. We kick the list off with a trio of champs. Louis Monte, who would defeat Gianna Valenta at Dragon Gate Dead or Alive to retain the Open the Gate Dream title. We also had Kenta, who would defend his Defy World title against Brian Keith in an insanely good 30-minute match. And finally, Saigo Tachibana from All Japan would defend his Gaora TV title against Dan Tamura. All three are great champions respectively, and I wanted to make sure they all got some shine for their title defenses. Louis Monte, Kenta, and Saigo Tachibana all arrived to kick off the list at number 10. Tom Latimer, the new NWA National Heavyweight Champion, is on the list at number 9, and he won a fatal 4-way match against Blake Truth, Virgil, and Zion on this past week's NWA Power for the title that was vacated by Thrillbilly Silas Mason. The match was short, but had good action, and the win was a legit shocker for me. But Latimer has been a champ in NWA in the past as a tag and dominant television champ, so this seems like Latimer is making a lateral move closer towards the main event scene, which he does normally hover at. But this was a huge win for Latimer, who finds himself at number 9. Congrats to the new champ. The number 8 male wrestlers of the week is AEW champ Swerve Strickland and the Embassy, specifically Brian Cage, who turned on Swerve this week on AEW Dynamite and put the hurt on him, seemingly as punishment for Swerve popping off at the Bucks last week on Dynamite, along with softening him up for Christian Cage and his title opportunity against Swerve at AEW Double or Nothing. Later at AEW Collision, though, Swerve would get his revenge as he would attack the Embassy from behind and would challenge them to a match in his home state of Washington at AEW Dynamite. Also, fair play to Swerve, who made a surprise appearance at Defy Here and Now, since Defy is one of the promotions where Swerve cut his teeth. But back to this angle. I am perfectly okay with this, as since Swerve is pretty much a babyface now, he is in no need of a faction to protect him, and is more compelling as a babyface that fights from underneath. I have no doubt in my mind that Swerve can accomplish this goal, as he is looking pretty vulnerable as a face already over the past 2 weeks, and that vulnerability and believability that Swerve can be beaten only adds to his title reign the more he defends it. But this week was all about the angle advancement, and I loved it. I loved intertwining it with the Elite as EVPs, and this is going to lead to Swerve becoming a better champ that can overcome the odds. At least, that's what I hope. But the Embassy and AEW champs Swerve Strickland arrive at Wrestler of the Week at number 8. We have a new OVW heavyweight champion, and that is Tony Evans, who at OVW Double Cross, a fitting name, we saw all sorts of interference and a crooked ref in EC3 basically gift wrap the title to Evans as he defeated Luke Curtis for his first run with the title, and with EC3 being the first to congratulate Evans after his victory, it feels like the fix was in all along. Evans is one of those performers who generally works well with a lot of the OVW talents and has good chemistry with them, so I could see OVW getting some good mileage out of this title run. But man, Evans needed like a whole entourage to win. Jesse Ventura said it best: win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. Boy, was that on display here. Congratulations to Tony Evans, the new OVW heavyweight champion who arrives at number 7. Logan Paul, the WWE United States champ, is at number 6, and he appears on this list by way of being named the number 1 contender to Cody Rhodes' WWE title, and they will meet seemingly title for title at King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. I'll be honest with you, I am not sure if I am a fan of the matchup only because Paul is currently United States champ as well. This will be a showcase for Logan Paul's athleticism and Cody's babyface fire, but to me, it does feel like unless this is a title unification bout, there is very little doubt as to who will win. There is nothing wrong with that level of predictability. I just wish WWE would not sacrifice one of their champions for it. Bobby Lashley is right there. Give him the shot. But that was a massive tirade just to congratulate Logan Paul, who is the number 1 contender to Cody Rhodes' WWE title, and he appears on the list at number 6. At number 5, we have a brand new CZW World Heavyweight Champion in Aaron Ash, who at CZW Limelight 2024 defeated Rich Swann to capture the title with help from Mika. This is Ash's first run with the title, and it will be interesting to see what he can do with Combat Zone Wrestling backing him up as a heel champion. I was personally not ready to see Swann lose the title yet. Perhaps there's a rematch down the line, but it is clear CZW is looking to go in a new direction with Ash. He has been in the business for 6 years now, and it looks like CZW has been his home for the majority of it, so perhaps it is sink or swim time for the ruler as the face of Combat Zone Wrestling. We will see, but congratulations to the new CZW World Heavyweight Champ, Aaron Ash, who lands at number 5. How is it possible that the best feud in all of wrestling is between two injured wrestlers? But here we are, and we have CM Punk and Drew McIntyre on the list at number 4. On Monday Night Raw, Punk and Drew literally missed each other in the parking lot. Punk would then go on to cut one of the best promos of the year, clearly one of his best since returning, and promised to break Drew McIntyre's face. Drew would not back down though, as he would continue to be one of the best social media murderers in the game, dropping jewels on TikTok and finally writing a stan letter to CM Punk on Twitter. Let's call a spade a spade. Drew and Punk are the two best on the mic in all of wrestling right now, and I don't think it's really close right now, until The Rock returns, of course. But I'm trying to think of an angle where both competitors were injured but still made it work, and for the life of me, I can't think of one, which makes what these two doing truly something special. When these guys meet in the ring for the first time, it is going to slap hard. And honestly, at this point, save the match for WrestleMania and just wrap them both in bubble wrap until then. But for this week, because they are both fucking awesome, despite being injured, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre land on the list for Wrestler of the Week for the men at number 4. The number 3 spot for Men's Wrestler of the Week belongs to the 8 participants that will engage in combat at Anarchy in the Arena at AEW Double or Nothing. the Elite came out on AEW Dynamite on their power trip, which brought out FTR. Once things started to get physical, Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson showed up for backup. Now, Kingston I could see coming to back up FTR, but Danielson was a surprising and welcome curveball, and now we have Anarchy in the arena, set for Double or Nothing, and this match is gonna cook based just on who is involved. I did like this segment. It was to the point. It got our main players introduced, and from it we got a major match announcement. This is simple storytelling like booking that AEW can excel at when they are focused. Obviously, the Elite's change in demeanor is one of the, if not the, biggest angle in AEW, so hopefully there is some care to the storytelling and they know what their end game is. But for now, I am enjoying the ride, and now we get Anarchy in the arena out of it? Sign me up. This anarchist is ready for some anarchy himself. That brings our competitors for said match on the list at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is EC3, who crazily makes his debut on Wrestler of the Week this week. But he did have a major week. First on OVW television as special guest referee, along with some Masked Man and Jay De Niro interference, EC3 would basically gift the OVW Heavyweight Championship to Tony Evans at OVW Double Cross. Then later in the week on NWA Power, EC3 would successfully defend his NWA Heavyweight title against Silas Mason. EC3 has been slowly gaining more exposure between his time on NWA and OVW. He is also the OVW National Heavyweight Champion, and while it seems like he is not on the radar for the big two promotions for now, I do personally enjoy his work, and he is a very good representative for NWA as a great old school champion with a chip on his shoulder. Here is hoping to see him a little bit more frequently, especially defending his titles, but it is nice to finally see EC3 appear on the countdown, and this busy week lands him at number 2. The Wrestler of the Week for Week 14 is my man from the 6, the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland, who had a busy week. First, on AEW Dynamite, he would successfully defend his TNT title against a Game Brody King and would eventually need help from Kyle O'Reilly post-match from a beatdown from the House of Black. Then at AEW Collision, Copeland would retain against Kyle O'Reilly in a great television match. Copeland has grown into a great fighting champ and representative of the TNT title, carving out his own legacy with it, sort of an inverted way of defending the title compared to his former counterpart Christian Cage, who would do everything not to defend. So this definitely feels like a new era with Copeland as champ, and I hope he just continues to put out bangers and be a great ambassador for AEW. It is insane to think Copeland and pretty much all wrestling fans believed his career was over well over a decade ago, and here he is back and killing it in the ring. Madness. But I will never tire of seeing Copeland do his thing in the ring. He had an amazing week to showcase how far he has come back after that near career-ending injury. On this day, I see clearly, and Adam Copeland is the Week 14 Wrestler of the Week. And now for the women and some honorable mentions. Billy Starks would have a busy week. First, defeating Myron Reed at BLP Showdown at the Shoreline. Then on Ring of Honor television, she would best Dream Girl Ellie in a Ring of Honor television title Proving Ground match. Fallon Henley would defeat Kalani Jordan in a good match on NXT. The ongoing storyline between Mariah May and Mina would continue as on AEW Dynamite. After Mariah May would defeat Harley Cameron, Mina would save Mariah from a beatdown by Harley and Saraya. Where is this going? I'm just enjoying the ride, and they are both clearly having fun. The following would advance in the WWE Queen of the Ring tournament. Io Sky, Zoe Stark, Lyra Valkyria, Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, and Bianca Belair. And now the top 10 wrestlers of the week for the women. Kicking off the list for the women is the team of Fukuoka, Double Crazy from Stardom, Hazuki, and Koguma, who at this week's Stardom pay-per-view defeated Crazy Star, the team of May Sierra, and Suzu Suzuki in what I believe to be a bit of a mild upset for the Goddesses of Stardom title. This match went back and forth, displaying both team speed and technical prowess. It took a codebreaker and a brainbuster from Kojima on Suzuki to gain the titles, and this is Fukuoka's third run with the titles, and they have been fully established now as a major team in Stardom with this victory, and now it's a matter of finding out who their next challengers may be. But congratulations to the new champs, Suzuki and Koguma, who have three-peated their way into the Goddesses of Stardom titles and appear on the list at number 10. The current CMLL Mexican National Women's Tag Champs, Kara and Scotty, arrive at number 9, and they successfully defended their titles against La Valentinas, Hera, and Olympia in a good match at CMLL Martes del Arena, Mexico. It is crazy to think that Kira is only 22 years old and has been pretty much thrown to the wolves to learn on the fly with other performers. I believe she is doing a great job, and only having her partner with the Queen of Wolves will only help her improve. But this was a good tag match with the champs retaining, and I am only curious as to who the next challengers will be. This week, Kyra and Scotty, the CMLL Mexican National Women's Tag Champs, arrive at number 9. At number 8, we have the women who are at the focal point of the AEW TBS Women's title, and that is champ Willow Nightingale and number 1 contender Mercedes Moné, who both had busy nights on AEW television. Both of them had interview segments on AEW Dynamite, where each proclaimed that they will emerge victorious at AEW Double or Nothing. Clearly, this feud is starting to heat up and ramp up, and now that we have Willow Nightingale defending the TBS title at Stardom Flashing Champions against Tam Nakano, we are seeing a lot of layers being added to this feud. Will Mercedes Moné make an appearance before Double or Nothing? We will see, but this feud, like I said, is just starting to heat up. So we have Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné, the two women surrounding themselves around the TBS Women's title, here at number 8. We have the Stardom Artist of Stardom title holders at number 7, Empress Nexus Venus, the team of Maika, Mina Shirakawa, and Xena, who at this week's Stardom pay-per-view defeated Stars, the team of Hanan, Mayu Iwatani, and Sayalita in a very good match. This match cooked, with all 6 women bringing the fire. We would see Hanan hit a nasty blockbuster and Maika land a beautiful Michinoku driver to end the match and seal the victory. We have 6 of the best in the ring just making bacon. I don't need to tell you this match rocked, but I am telling you anyways to go find it because all 6 of these ladies killed it. Also, don't forget about Mina and her stuff going on in AEW with Mariah May. But we could only have one winner in this match, and that is the team of Empress Nexus Venus, the current Artist of Stardom title holders, at number 7. The ever-continuing and brewing feud over the AEW Women's title between champ Timeless Toni Storm and challenger the Professor Serena Deeb land at number 6. Deeb came out and cut a very, very good babyface promo on AEW Dynamite, where she highlighted her battle with seizures, and Toni Storm came out to let her know she did not give 2 shits. Storm is literally out of this world, and this kickstarted a hell of a brawl between the two. This is a feud that scratches all of my itches. Deeb and Storm can flat out go in the ring, and I like the fact that we have an exaggerated character in Toni Storm going up against someone who may inject a little bit of dose of reality to her in Serena Deeb. I love when women's wrestling feels important, and this, along with the Monet-Willow feud, feels important. Let's keep the train rolling. AEW Women's Champ Timeless Toni Storm and number 1 contender Serena Deeb arrived at number 6 on the list for this week. We have a new Defy Women's champ, and that is Marina Shafir, one of the original 4 horsewomen, and she arrives at number 5. At Defy Here and Now, Shafir would best avert Vixen in a shocker, ending Vixen's 559-day reign with the title. This is Shafir's first ever bit of wrestling gold, and I take this to mean that Defy has some major faith in Shafir, either as a performer or a name talent to draw some fans in. Shafir is a talent who is slowly but surely improving in the ring, and obviously the more experience she gets, the better she will be. But this is a major win for Shafir and a major change in direction for Defy, as they relied on Vixen for so long as their women's champ. Now I am interested in knowing what Vixen's next move will be, as she is a talent who can make a real splash wherever she lands. But this week isn't about Vert Vixen, it's about Marina Shafir, who I need to congratulate for becoming the new Defy Women's champ, landing her at number 5 this week. The current JCW title holder Masha Slamovic lands on the list at number 4. At GCW Gringos Locos World on Lucha 2024, Slamovic would best Dolce Tormenta to defend her title. Slamovic has now held the title for 90 days and is willing to defend against both men and women, and that little wrinkle makes some of her title matches more compelling. I know everyone has differing opinions about intergender wrestling. I sure have my own opinions about it. But sometimes you can find a talent like Chyna, Beth Phoenix, Jordan Grace, or Rhea Ripley who can take as much as they can dish out from the men, and it makes for even more compelling characters. But it has to gel with a talent that can make those kind of matches and moments work and feel natural. I feel Slamovic has that quality, and also wrestling in TNA where there are those opportunities not just for intergender matches, but to go face to face with someone like Jordan Grace herself is something that will raise her stock and profile. Slamovic is also one half of the TNA Knockouts Tag Champs with Alicia Edwards as well, so she has a good amount of gold around her waist. Let's hope the train keeps moving. For this week, Masha Slamovic lands at number 4. We have a group of women at number 3, and it's the ladies who are all circling around Becky Lynch and her WWE Women's World title. On Monday Night Raw, Becky was out for an interview with Michael Cole when Liv Morgan came out to interrupt to make her claim for a shot at the title. This then brought out Damage Control of all people, before Lyra Valkyria would come out to defend Becky when Liv wanted nothing to do with any of it. Also later that evening, while Dakota Kai would not be able to advance in the Queen of the Ring tournament, losing to Lyra Valkyria, Io Sky would advance defending Natalya. I have said it before and I will say it again. WWE's women's roster is the deepest it has ever been, and there are just way too many great female performers who can be plugged into any feud, and most of them will be just able to make it work. The women all involved are top tier talents, and it's only a matter of time before all of them in some way clash together in the ring. But for now, Becky Lynch and all those within orbit of her WWE Women's World title is at number 3. Just out of reach of the number 1 spot, but settling nicely at number 2, is NXT Women's Champ Roxanne Perez, who has become quite the fighting champion despite being a heel. This week on NXT, Perez took out Chelsea Green in a fine match. There was not much doubt that Perez would retain, but the two had a good match that once again showcased Chelsea's in-ring personality, one of the best in all of wrestling, and Perez's fire as a heel champion who will do anything to win. The two traded back and forth, including a set of roll-ups, but at the end, Roxy hit Pop Rocks for the win to retain her title, and now we are getting into a groove for Roxy as women's champ. the more exposure and title defenses she has, the more shine the title will get. And when the time comes to make a new female star in NXT, Roxy will have been viewed as a very credible champion. Not that she isn't credible already. Roxy is the prodigy after all, and she is continuing to smack bitches up to defend her NXT Women's title, and that lands her at number 2 on this list. And the Wrestler of the Week for Week 14 is Sky Blue of AEW and Ring of Honor, and this, honestly, is more for events that occurred in real life. This past week, during a match between Sky Blue and Rachel Ellering, a very disgusting, quote-unquote, fan decided it would be a good idea to sexually harass and make disparaging, misogynistic comments towards her. She, Ellering, and referee Aubrey Edwards all handled the situation with dignity and some fire. Eventually, this douche canoe was ejected from the arena, who also had his child with him, so that shows what kind of a parent he is as well. What warmed my heart about the entire incident, though, is the quick and near unanimous show of support from fellow peers in the business and wrestling field. Deonna Purrazzo said it best. Men can walk around in their underwear and no one says anything, but apparently women aren't allowed to show off their bodies? Bullshit. I am glad that Sky Blue has received all the support she has during this whole ordeal, and honestly, now is the time for Sky to really show off what she can do as a professional wrestler, dust herself off, and take it to the next level. The sky is literally the limit for her. But this week, personally for me, as a show of support, Sky Blue is the female wrestler of the week for week 14. And here are the weekly rankings for the men and the women. This was a crazy week, but the one thing that I think we all learned was that there are assholes everywhere. What did you think of my picks for Wrestler of the Week? Do you agree or disagree? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.